Alrighty, so this is a continuation of the last video, the one that I just posted about my life and like the progression of it and how it has led up to this point. But this is going to be a more detailed look into my twin flame experience that happened shortly after I got that security job. So, how it goes is I get the security job, right? And I still have the awareness that I just learned in me, you know? So I was still learning all of about frequency, vibration, one consciousness, the law of one, all that kind of stuff, right? And around December 21st, 2021, I remember the day, I joined a global meditation to raise the collective consciousness. I can't remember how many people it had in it, but I remember going into the meditation and feeling like something was there with me, something connected to me, right? After the meditation, I had another spontaneous awakening, not really Kundalini awakening, it was just more of a, I guess I was really connected to my spirit at that time. Because I was just listening. And what it was saying is leave. Leave my hometown, leave my job, leave everything. And then the universe puts synchronicity in my path, right? What I mean by that is it brought to me my twin flame. Early January, I can't remember the date, but early January, I get this message on Facebook from somebody that I don't know, and her name was Amber. And because I had dreads at one time, and then I just like randomly cut them off out of like, I don't know, a dark night of the soul moment or something, and just chopped them all off. And she asked me, why did I cut them off? I told her that, you know, just had a bad night one day and spirit told me to cut them off, so I did. Probably, now looking back, so that she could have a reason to message me. She didn't need a reason to message me. But the following words she said was, "That's crazy," or something like that. I would love to get to know you more. And I don't normally do that kind of stuff. I don't normally tell people about my life. So the last video, the one that I just made, is super crazy to me. I can't believe I just did that because I normally don't tell anybody. But it's getting super crazy. The more I look back at my past, the more crazier it gets because I start seeing everything in line with everything, you know? But, so we started talking. We talked a lot. We talked about everything. And then we started falling in love. I'm all dreamy right now because I'm just remembering. Over Facebook, man. Synchronicities turned out that we joined the same meditation group, and what we feel is that we met each other in that meditation. And our souls wanted us to come back together, because that's what a twin flame relationship is, you know, two souls with the same identical frequency coming back into alignment to show what we all need to work on to release, only really abruptly, you know, if that makes sense to you. But, so we started talking, gaining a relationship, and at this time I was still working at the security place. But during my security time, I was researching the Pacific Crest Trail, and I really got a message to go for that. So I ended up quitting my job, just all of a sudden, just quit, and signed up to go and hike the Pacific Crest Trail. And it turned out my best friend of 16 years, who was also working security at the time with me, wanted to too. So he quit also and joined me on training for the Pacific Crest Trail. Now, here is where it gets trippy. It gets so trippy for me. Um, so we shipped out about March 11th, March 4th. Way too early for the Pacific Crest Trail. We don't know what we were doing. I know what I was doing at this time. Like, I was just being spirit led. Um, we took a bus all the way down to the border of Mexico with our bags. We hiked for a little bit. We understood that we were not in shape for this. And I ended up rolling my ankle trying to rock climb on some rocks at night, which don't do that. That's not a good idea. And then he had a weird foot fungus for about 2 days. And then we get to a point on the trail where we could kind of, rest for a while. And so we stayed at this campground for maybe a couple days. And he was trying to get wood or something, brush for a fire, and he ended up getting a big old stick poked into his eye. So we had to rush to the nearest hospital, which was San Diego. And we stayed at a hotel for about 2 weeks there. And then I got my stimulus check at that time. So I had some more money, bought some more equipment, bought some better equipment. Stayed there until his eye was kind of better. He had state insurance, which did not work in California, so he just decided to say screw it and hike with a eye patch. It was super hilarious. Because he is notorious for, hurting himself. Like, he's almost died 7 times. More than that, probably. Anyway, while we got back to that campsite, decided to start hiking, and we found a cat that I have a rune tattooed on the side of my head. And we ran into this guy, and Eli, my best friend, was talking to him first, and then I noticed that he had the same kind of rune tattooed on his arm, not on his eye. And so him and I started vibing out. Turns out he was a musician, I'm a musician, so then we all hiked together. We started becoming close as kind of like a trail family, Then we got to a certain point where I wanted to hike alone, because I'm a Pisces, so I like my alone time. And I was trying to find myself, as this was a new experience for me. So at the time, my mother was back in Oregon and she was having surgery. And I got word of that from my grandmother. And I ended up making the decision that I had to go back, Like, I had to take care of family issues, family problems, not family problems, just, be there for my family, right? Which you'll figure out in a minute why this is all being said right now. But, so I ended up coming back up to Oregon, and my best friend kept on going with the trail, and came back up to Oregon, saw it through that she had her surgery. She was completely fine, so I don't know why. I do know why, because I was being spirit led again. But, so I didn't really know what to do at this point, and I was talking to Amber, and she's like, well, oh yeah, before this, the plan was that I would hike for a while, maybe up until the Oregon border, and then, because she was going to go on a West Coast trip. She lived in Arkansas at the time, and I lived in Oregon, so completely opposite sides of the country. And she never experienced the West Coast before. She wanted to go to the Redwoods and all these national parks and everything, and she invited me to come with her as like her traveling buddy. And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, all giddy and in love and stuff like that. But we never actually met, so I was talking to her, and she's all like, well, if you don't know what to do, why don't you come to Arkansas, like hitchhike to Arkansas, and then we could go back to the West Coast together, and then we could see where everything goes. So I told Sam, the other trail guy, because him and I got really close, like brother type status, and I told him because he was still hiking the trail, and he was like, dude, I want to hitchhike with you to Arkansas. And I'm like, what? Really? Why? He's like, I don't know. I just like traveling with you, dude. So this guy that, this cat that I've never met, or only met for, like a month or two, wants to hitchhike across the country with me. And I was like, yeah, sure, dude. So we decided that I would hitchhike down to Southern Oregon because I'm in Northeast Oregon, and he would hitchhike up to Southern Oregon. We would meet in the middle and then go from there. So we did that. Took maybe about 2 weeks to come back together, but we came back together, then got back up to Northeast Oregon. Took maybe a week to resupply and rest up, all that kind of jazz, and then we started our trip to Arkansas. And boy, oh boy, Amber and I were talking so many times that we understood that we have met in other lifetimes. Like, we've probably been partners in other lifetimes, and that when we meet, we were getting visions of bombs going off, like. So we knew that first interaction was going to be like, it was going to be crazy. I need to kind of hurry this up. I don't want to. I could talk for hours about this because there's so much experience packed into, 2 years, because it's only been 2 years. This was 2021. This was 2022. Jeez, man. Anyway, so Sam and I decided to go over there, and we did, and we got into Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and that's where she was from. And we met, and sure enough, like, bombs did go off, man. We were, I don't even, indescribable amount of love and home feeling and security came from that first interaction. It was magical, like a fairy tale, dude. Like the whole thing. Synchronicities all over the place, because we also see the same synchronicity, 23, which is crazy. And my birthday is February 23rd, and I was born at 5/23, so anyway, so we got there, and she was working at she was living and working at a mushroom farm, like an organic mushroom farm. So we went and stayed there for about 2 weeks, and we went to a festival in Ohio, and then that is where Sam and I parted, because he went back to North Carolina. This cat was 18 or 19, and he was in college. He was a college student, so he was going to college at the time. So he had to go back at a certain point. So then Amber and I started our trek across all the national parks, making our way to Washington. We went and stayed up in Washington with her friend for a while. We went and saw the redwoods. We came back to here, went and saw the redwoods again. That doesn't make sense. Dude, we were all over the place. Massive amounts of synchronicities. It was both a fairy tale and kind of like a nightmare, though, too, because what we were being shown in each other was like the aspects of ourselves that were no longer working, what we needed to let go of, because we were both awakened, but there was still parts of us that we're hidden from ourselves. And that's what a twin flame relationship is supposed to show you, and how to work through them, you know. .15 minutes. So we decided to stay in Oregon for a little bit, and both of us were kind of not really vibing with that for a long time. Like, we didn't understand why we were here. We didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be here. She didn't want to be here. We wanted to go and, you know, start a life together. But something kept us here. I ended up going back into security, and she ended up going back into security too. And look, a twin flame relationship is never easy, you know, because we are constantly working with our shadow. We are constantly doing shadow work, because that is the primary focus of a twin flame relationship, is to get to an alignment phase of yourself so that you can resonate as a union, right? And we didn't really understand that at first. We do now. But we stayed here for around 2 years. And I'm saying here, but she's already gone. She's back in Arkansas. But we stayed here November 21st, 2022. My grandma, who we were staying with, and she got a really, Amber got really, you know, it was her grandma too. It was my grandma, but her grandma. And I've never been really linked up with my mother as a mother figure, because my grandmother was the one who raised me, and my mom and I always had like weird clickage. You know, she always expects a lot and undervalues and underappreciates everything that she sees in a lack mentality. So that was a shadow that I had to work on, that I didn't really even know. I mean, I knew for years deep down. But looking back at everything in my current awareness, the reason that we stayed is so that I could release these shadow aspects of myself. You know, family trauma, my grandma dying, you know, I had to release this place, or else I would have to come back here eventually. And I would always have that pull back here, right? And I can't have that pull in the 5D. I can't have that pull coming back to 3D, to a survival mentality. And I will make a video on like the 3D, 4D, 5D shift and how to kind of navigate it properly. There was multiple runner chaser aspects of this relationship too, because multiple times we would project our pain onto each other, and then that would throw us into a negative cycle, and then that negative cycle would make one of us want to run away from each other, because we don't want to face the trauma that is being presented inside of us, right? So there was constantly a runner-chaser mentality cycle that we were in. In between the cycles was perfectly fine. Like it was amazing. So much love, so much love. But this last time, after my grandma died, I was constantly being shown that my family wasn't appreciating my worth here, you know, and everything that I've done for the family since my grandma has died, because everybody kind of got depressed, and that's understandable, but somebody had to step up, and that step up person was me. But I took on way too much. I took on the yard, I took on the bills, I took on the house, I took on, you know, organizing and all that kind of crazy stuff. You know, and nobody else was helping me through it. Not one of my family. Amber was helping me through it, but not my family. And this past awakening, I don't even know what date it is, dude. But on that Kundalini experience, my most recent one showed me that I missed home. I missed the vibration of home, not just my home, like four walls and a roof. No, that's not home. I'm talking vibration, frequency. You know, me vibrating at my highest potential. And even though I still had some darkness and shadow aspects of myself I wasn't working through at the time, while I was actively traveling and experiencing new things, that is when I felt the most resonant with myself. And I wanted to get back there, you know. But Amber and I got into another projective fight, and I called it quits. Like, I don't want this energy. You need to go back home to Arkansas. Because I saw it in a vision that she was going to be going back home eventually. So she did. And we are still together right now. But, like, what happened after that, this is how crazy it is, man, is that I was shown that it wasn't her that I needed to let go of. It was to a point, because we were very emotionally lenient on each other. Not lenient, but leaning on each other. And what we needed to do is grow our inner strength and our inner trust back. So that came the separation phase between both of us. And we knew it all along. Like, every time that runner chaser mentality would come back, it's because we kept on getting visions of this separation phase happening, even though we didn't want to admit it at the time. Because who wants to be separated from somebody that you truly love and see a future with? Nobody. But regardless, she moved back to Arkansas, but before that, we talked about everything and understood that this separation phase is to teach us lessons that we have to learn alone here. And that's trust within ourselves, trust within the universe, trust that everything is going to happen in divine timing. And boy, did it, man. Boy, did it. So she went to Arkansas, and she released some of her shadow, her mother trauma, right? And shortly after that, I started releasing my mother trauma, because she was constantly begging me to do stuff, but only calling me to do stuff for her, not checking in on me, because she knows that I was in love with Amber and that she just left and everything like that. So she wasn't being a mother figure to me. So I kind of took my energy back, right? I just stayed away, did my own thing, worked on my shadow, started healing myself internally. Because that's what the separation phase is supposed to be about, is like intense physical, emotional, spiritual healing, so that you can come back together in union, right? But then so I made the decision about 3 weeks ago now, that I was going to move down to Arkansas with Amber and start our life down there, because it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, trees everywhere, woodland jobs. I could be a fairy in the forest if I truly wanted to, which I do. I could play guitar in the square, you know. I could perform my personal readings in the square. I could do, spiritual work, all that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful place, and so much love and so much abundance there, as opposed to here. I have not found one single thing that was in alignment with me here. That's because I'm supposed to let this place go. 24 minutes. This is gonna be a long one, so I'm almost done. But, so I made the decision about 3 weeks ago that I was gonna move with Amber. And then over the course of that 3 weeks, the universe started aligning in ways that we didn't expect to happen. So she went with her car and nothing else besides like clothes and her stuff. but she wasn't going to go back to a house. She didn't know what she was going to do. But the universe provides, because her best friend there was just gifted a bus that needs to be cleaned out and is perfectly livable and everything like that. And she's lending it to Amber. And I'm going to be going down there, you know, living out of a bus with the girl of my dreams, the one that I'm so in love with, making a life together, you know? So I told my mom this about 3 weeks ago. And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm super proud of you." Blah 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 blah. Not. She didn't say that. She didn't really say that much of anything. She kind of diverted the subject. But you guys don't know my mom, but she would have freaked out any other time. And I think she just internalized it that moment, because for the next 2 weeks she didn't talk to me at all. She didn't call me. And one time that she called me was to ask me to come do her lawn. Not to check up on me, not to, you know, talk to her son, but just to come do something for her. I'm like, yeah, I'll come do it tomorrow. But that kind of hurt at the moment. And then she came over and exploded on me, man. She exploded. "Why are you leaving, man? You can't leave me at this time. Blah, 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 blah. We have so much work to do here." I'm like, man, I've been trying. I am not running from this place. I'm running to my life. I'm running for my life. I am running for love, you know? Long story short, she kicked me out that day and gave me a week. I gave myself a week, but it was either that or pay her like 500, 600 bucks. And I don't have my tuition money right now. I'm in school, by the way. That was another thing that happened. Oh, I might as well put this out there. Saturn is in retrograde in Pisces right now. I am a Pisces. Not only that, but I am also 29 and in my Saturn return. So, oh boy, is the universe showing me what needs to change. Anyway, so she gave me a week. I kind of got irritated, but I also felt the cord cut, the emotional and spiritual cord cut from me and her, because I now see how the relationship with my family here and this place in general has affected me and kind of closed me off and shunned me into myself. And I don't want that. I want to, you know, glow. I want to brighten up the world. And I can't do that if my inner fire is, you know, snuffed out. And that's what this place is doing to me. That's what my family is doing to me. But this was about 3-4 days ago that she kicked me out. She gave me a week. So I kind of got stressed out, like, how am I supposed to get the money to leave? How am I supposed to get my stuff there? But then I just asked my family for help, my extended family, my family that I don't talk to, my dad's side of the family that is in California. And they were willing to help me out. So I got a bus ticket and I'm leaving on Monday, July 3rd, the full moon. I am letting this place go. I am letting my family go. If they want to heal themselves and if they want to come back into my life, maybe. But only if they've healed, you know, if they truly see what they've done. And who knows, maybe they might not even make the shift. Maybe that's why I'm being led over to Arkansas, you know? But anyway, that's the current life trip, man. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. But I'm glad I put this out there, because now I could, you know, fully let this place go. Let the story of my past go. And once I get there, create from scratch. I am shifting my realities and following spirit and following love. And I'm psychic already, but boy, do I see what's coming, and it's beautiful. All we need to do is let go in this life. Let go of the things that are bringing us down, not stay stuck in a negative cycle, in a negative environment, in a negative karmic relationship, whether that means romantic relationships or family relationships or friendships too. But just like the Fool card in Tarot, I am completely jumping off this cliff and letting the universe catch me. And I feel good about it. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for listening. If you have listened, please subscribe, because I am going to be posting like traveling updates and the shift updates, like what I'm experiencing, what I'm letting go of. Like, I really want to keep on doing tarot, but for the moment, man, I'm gonna be everywhere, man. Just trying to, create my life. But I want to document this process too, to show people 3D to 5D, and like what you need to do, like what you need to be aware of in your life to shift out of that survival mentality into a more creator, manifesting reality, energy. Anyway, I love you. I see you. Bye, guys.